Good afternoon, good morning, and good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is James Henderson with mindzie. I'm joined by my colleague, Yana Gregosova, and we're going to take you through the session focused on how you can supercharge your business process improvement projects with mindzie. For today's session, we'll probably run about 30 minutes or so. But we are happy to take questions as well. So the QA section should be available to everybody in the Teams meeting. What I would ask that you do is simply post any questions that you have in that Q&A. Yana will support me in triaging them all, and then we'll be happy to get them answered at the end of the meeting. So with that, we are going to dive in. I will say for anyone or any of your colleagues who are not able to join, this meeting is being recorded and we will share the recording out at a later date. So let's dive right in. mindzie is in a space known as process intelligence, which I'm sure many of you are well aware of, and that's why you're joining the meeting. And the focus today is really, how do we take time-boxed, project-based process improvement and enable organizations and individuals such as yourselves to be as efficient with that time as possible while still maximizing the results that you're able to drive for your clients. And it's been something that I personally have been discussing with our engineering team for quite some time in terms of how do we streamline that so that we're not taking 16 weeks to do a process intelligence analysis in a project that takes 16 weeks with very little time to implement some of those changes. And that's really going to be the overarching focus for today, is how do we do that with mindzie and what tools do we have available to make this an easier experience for you. Whenever I do this, I always like to start off with the why. And because this particular session is focused on consultants such as yourselves, it's always a good reminder to remember why we're brought in. And it is a staggering figure that companies lose up to 30% of their profit each year. Up to 30% of their potential bottom line is impacted by their inability to do things efficiently. Time overruns, cost overruns, all driven primarily by process issues. So you, ladies and gentlemen, obviously know this as well as anyone, and that's why you're brought in. But the foundation of how companies run are processes. And efficient processes drive successful companies. Inefficient processes are extremely costly to organizations, right? You think of that 30%, 1/3 of every dollar of profit is lost when they're run inefficiently. And this has really driven the rise of the process intelligence market. So when we think about why do companies leverage process intelligence as part of what you guys are doing to support them in terms of digital transformation, business process improvement projects, overall improvement, it really starts with that first layer that is knowledge, right? Process intelligence provides a new level of transparency for these organizations that they've never had before, across systems, across departments, understanding truly how work gets done. And once they get that level of transparency, everything can flow from there. Now that we understand truly how work is being done, not what was drawn up in a boardroom, but data-driven transparency on that process, we can truly see where the inefficiencies are, quantify those inefficiencies, and make deterministic decisions on where we want to invest in new projects and new resources to help alleviate some of these challenges. And fundamentally, that is the benefit of process intelligence. It's business intelligence, but taking it to a whole new lens by looking at business processes. So when we apply it, as most of you will already know, you really discover that as is process. And that's the first aha moment. This is what is actually happening with the organization. These are the process flows, the different variations, the different deviations, the activities that get missed, the activities that get skipped, bottlenecks, root cause analysis, and all the great things that come from process intelligence. And then as we implement changes, the interesting part about process intelligence is it also allows us to then not only monitor but also measure the impact of some of those changes. Were we able to truly deliver what we had hoped? So all kinds of benefits come as we start going through this discovery process with process intelligence. And you'll see more and more that it really is becoming the foundation and a key enabler for AI. So the rise of AI and AI agents have been very interesting over the course of the last 18 months. It's really spilled into every business, every avenue, every area of the globe, and frankly, every industry. The danger of AI, and where a lot of companies are learning hard lessons, is very much akin to if you look back 10, 20 years ago, the rise of RPA. And in the rise of RPA, it was we could automate everything. We could automate every task, every action. We were going to automate everybody out of a job. The danger that most organizations found with trying to take that approach is although the theory sounded great, in reality, what they took was, and what they got was the ability to do things much faster, which sounds great on paper, except when those things are wrong or troublesome, you are basically just putting your problems on hyperscale. So you had these RPA bots that were doing tons of work really quickly that sometimes was not what needed to be done or didn't quantify the right action. So you did a lot of work and created a lot more problems, really exacerbated the problems within your organization. AI agents, to a certain degree, have some of those same challenges. If a business doesn't understand how it's run and isn't optimized to run well, AI agents face the same challenge of being able to do a lot of tasks very quickly that can exacerbate problems. But they face another challenge in that they are agentic. And if things aren't streamlined and clear, they will tend to make mistakes, right? A lot of the industry refers to it as hallucinations. And those mistakes, again, cause your business more problems. So although the thesis is that it is going to streamline work and eliminate waste, saving time and cost, the reality is these types of technologies can inject more waste and more cost in a business that isn't properly prepared to deploy them. There is no magic wand, even with AI, to fix a business. A business that is in good shape with good data and good processes is prepared for AI. Ones that aren't are not, simply put. So let's get into mindzie. So why mindzie? Why consultants turn to us? We can get into a whole number of reasons with features, but I like to start and keep things easy. And fundamentally, there's a couple of core tenets that we really talk about when we look and work with new partners. One is affordability. Our design is to scale with use and to scale with the customer. Our licensing model is quite simple. We don't charge for data. We don't charge for number of projects. It's simply licensed by user. Keeps it simple, keeps it affordable, and it really allows it to scale with your projects, with the growth of your company, or within your client organizations. Rapid time to value, which is really the point of this particular session that we're going to go through today, is how do we take you from discovery to operationalized and everything in between in a very quick time frame while still delivering the insights and intelligence that you need to impact the business that you're working with. And of course, data security. We are one of the few, if not the only provider that is truly architecture agnostic. So our platform can be deployed on your desktop, including ETL and all the other tools to keep everything contained right within your desktop for data sensitive clients. We support cloud in a number of regions and are cloud agnostic, partnering with AWS, Azure, Google, Alibaba, and a whole number of others. And we also can be deployed on premise. So if the customer wants to operationalize mindzie down the road, everything stays self-contained within their organization, including the ability to leverage on-premise AI if they so choose to include it, and fully AI enabled throughout. And we're going to see some of that as we dive through into the session today. So let's get into the details here. When I think about business process improvement, whether it is a complete digital transformation project, whether it is targeted to a specific process, a specific department within an organization, when you break it down and distill it into its parts, the first step is always discovery and insight, right? We're going into a whole new world here of data-driven intelligence, where these organizations are able to see how work actually gets done. And discovery is a great term for it because it truly is discovery for almost all organizations. It's the first time they've ever had this level of detail. And as we look at these projects, we really think about it as how do we take it from raw data into discovery and into insight as quickly as possible. And the key driver why the mindzie team has been working so hard on this is really about, if you think of a time frame in a project, the faster we can get you to insight, the more time you can spend on implementing those things that drive that return on investment for your client, right? Think of it, process intelligence, as that X-ray of the business. And the faster we get you that X-ray and the faster we pinpoint where the opportunities are, the more time we invest in fixing those things and improving those things. And for anyone that's done a project, or for those of you that are still exploring process intelligence as a potential solution in your toolbox, it all starts with data. So every engagement begins with data. Now there is a whole discussion to be had around data itself. The challenges of data, messy data, getting access to data. Frankly, that's an entire session that I will probably leave to one of my colleagues that is more versed in it than I am. But with all of the projects I've been around over the last few years, the one thing that I will say with data fundamentally is, especially in transformation projects and business process improvement projects, the 80-20 rule is one that I still encourage everyone to focus on, right? Clients will tell you that these processes go across a wide range of systems, and sometimes they likely do, right? They will also tell you they have a high rate of customization, and sometimes they do. But to get yourself started, focusing on the critical backbone systems, right? The one or two core systems that the work is done in as a starting point, and focusing on the 80-20 rule when you think about the data itself. And the reason I say that is some people worry about trying to make sure that every single bit of the data is perfect. In my experience, although important and valuable, sometimes not worth the effort, because sometimes to get to that last 5% of perfect data, what you end up doing is realizing that the customer is never going to initiate any projects to impact that last 5% anyway, because they want to focus on things that have a larger impact within their organization. So while data will always remain a challenge, I think there are, if you're experienced in doing this, there are ways to minimize that challenge. There are also some interesting AI data transformation things that we will be launching here in the coming weeks that we'll have a whole session on as well. But within the mindzie platform, you can basically bring an event log if you have one. You also have access to our full data designer. So if you have access to raw tables from a system, you can import them, transform them, and send them right to mindzie for analysis. So we'll save that discussion for another day. But when you think about these point-in-time projects, which is really the focus of today's discussion, offline data is usually much easier. You can reach out to mindzie support if you're curious what data is needed for different processes, but being able to simply extract those and push them into mindzie is usually the path of least resistance when it comes to data. Now, once we have that data, here's where the fun begins, right? Because we really fundamentally have two challenges in doing a data-driven exercise around business processes, right? The first is data, as we just discussed. The next is, what does the data tell us, right? What are the things I should focus on? What are the insights that are important to this customer? What do I need to know? And how do I leverage those, obviously, to generate return on investment for my client? And within the mindzie platform, we have been stewing on this for quite some time and have launched a full guided setup into the platform. So once you load data into the platform itself, it takes you through a guided setup to allow you to maximize the value of that data and take advantage of all of the things mindzie has done over the years. So there is a full automated configuration that will walk you through understanding some key things about this data, process, industry, and then from there, it gets really interesting where we leverage the power of mindzie's AI to help you set industry standards across your data so that you can do analysis. And when I say industry standards, I mean things like cost, SLAs, compliance. You can always go in and configure it to your client-specific needs, but this really helps you rapidly understand and get a baseline of how your client is doing, where the cost leakage is, and how they are really performing compared to industry standards. So we basically take this data, instantly process it, and instantly apply a bunch of very interesting industry standard comparisons to the data, and then output all of that in a format that is now natural language that you can consume. And it's a really interesting way of starting to think about things where we have all of the amazing mindzie analysis tools that we'll talk about. But when we talk about leveraging intelligence, having the mindzie platform automatically take this information and generate potential projects, where to focus, estimated savings of taking on some of these initiatives based on those configurations of industry standard or specific custom tailored SLAs to a client, you now save yourself a tremendous amount of work. And the concept is really, let's stop digging through data and leverage true intelligence to figure out what is important, what I need to focus on, and where the opportunities are for improvement. And these reports are automatically generated, sent to your inbox. And really the general concept is, let's eliminate the guesswork. Let's get rid of the digging through data. Let's get rid of the guesswork as much as possible. And let's just tell you what you need to know. So you get insights and recommendations that then you can take to your client and make some really informed decisions on what projects you want to take on now that we've fully been able to quantify them, which is something that, although pseudo possible, tend to be a lot of work across any of these intelligence tools. And mindzie is basically taking the power of AI intelligence and automating it for you. Now, the obvious question is going to come out, but what happens if AI makes mistakes, right? What happens if it tells me something and I'm not 100% in agreement with what it's telling me? Well, the reality is everything we do right now, when it comes to AI, is done with a very focused attention to human in the loop. While AI, even in generating these reports, and for our customers that have been good enough to beta test them with us, has proven to be immensely valuable, we will never say that it's perfect. And the idea is it is helping you distill what to look at and what to dive into. You still have all of the mindzie no-code analysis tools, all of our pre-built templates, allowing you to dive in a layer deeper and customize, filter, remove key fields, right? Optimize the data. All kinds of things are still available in the platform so that you can think of that AI intelligence report as just a rapid way to get you the insights that you need so you are focused quickly. But you will always have that ability to dive in a layer deeper with mindzie and validate any of those things that AI has presented to you so that you can verify with evidence quickly and really truly have everything you need to make the right decisions on what projects to take on and what those impacts are. And in doing so within the mindzie platform, if any of you have used it before, you can take it to whatever level of detail you so need with your client. So customizing metrics, KPIs, there are full double-click drill-ins to look at root cause analysis and drill into any of the metrics, filtering by division, by department, all with our no-code analysis tools, and so much more. So you now basically have a really rapid way to go from data to insight, helping you quantify what projects you really should be exploring, and validate any of those AI insights as well directly in the platform as needed, so that you can build that trust layer with what mindzie is telling you in taking these insights and actually actioning them. Now, the interesting part about these reports is it really takes a number of different shapes as we start to develop them and expand them. So we have ones that are for governance, risk, compliance. We have ones that are for process analysts. We will even be launching SOP-based reports and a number of other derivations of these so that you basically get a complete playbook right from the mindzie platform automatically. And I'd be remiss without taking the opportunity here to present some things that are coming shortly. So for those of you that have leveraged the mindzie platform, everyone loves using our AI Copilot. Really great for being able to dive into details, ask questions, get some more information about analysis and your data itself, all in natural language. The team has been working now for months to take that into what we would call 2.0, or our AI teammate. And the AI teammate will evolve and take the Copilot to a whole new level where it will actually use mindzie as a toolbox and be able to create analysis for you. So you'll be able to talk to the AI teammate, have it apply filters, create analysis, create widgets, create metrics, create different charts, and really build up your analysis all in natural language now, being able to talk to it. With the flow that we will get to where you will simply load data, receive an AI intelligence report on everything that you should focus on, ranked in order of difficulty, priority, and potential cost savings, and then be able to dive into your AI teammate and effectively talk to that report and ask more questions about it and get some new levels of detail. And I want to see how many cases actually are impacting this particular opportunity and exactly what's causing it, all in one seamless flow. So our goal and what we have focused on for years is really the democratization of process mining and process intelligence in general. And after years of work, What we are now rapidly stepping into is an age where mindzie can truly put the intelligence in process intelligence, where we are leveraging all of our experience, all of our team's advanced engineering skills, and all of the AI training that we have done to be able to deliver what matters most in a quick and efficient time frame to people and organizations like yourselves, so that all of these insights can be put into action. We'll talk about what we do with some of these insights in another session. But if we think about it just in a discovery project, what does your client really get from you now? Data-driven insights that are clear, that are concise, that organize all of the data into something that can be consumed by a non-technical user in a really quick and easy manner. We're talking from the time you load data to the time you receive reports are in minutes. And this gives them project justification, right? When we start talking about going for budgets and working with these clients on what projects are we going to do next, how do we get budget approval for some of these things that we want to help them implement, this is where mindzie comes in, benchmarking their processes against industry standard times and costs, and then automatically quantifying and giving you a list of potential projects that can be done and what the impact and potential savings is for the business. So no longer do we have to take out pen and paper and build Excel spreadsheets or business justification forms. You can take this to your client in a very concise list and have them decide which projects they want to take on and make it easy for them to go justify budgets for new and existing projects as well. And with the evidence they can trust, right? AI is a key enabler. We will continue to invest heavy in it because of how powerful it is as a force multiplier in doing this type of work for you. But we will always have our advanced mode for diving in and doing customized analysis and taking things to a new level of detail for either the clients that want to be able to validate findings or those that want to get into specific one-off use cases. And all of this means that we get an executive-ready story where we can take it to the executives and basically help figure out exactly what we're going to be focused on to drive business process improvement. Now, the last layer of that story will come as we start thinking about how do we now operationalize these insights. And whenever I talk to our partners, discovery still tends to be a common way of getting started. We're doing a business process improvement project. It's a 12-week project. We're focused on these particular areas. We want to use process intelligence to help do some data-driven analysis, right? And figure out where we should really be diving into. Perfect. But once you've done that discovery, the next phase is now, well, we have some really interesting things that we've never seen before, right? We now are able to benchmark against our SLAs and monitor for it. We now have this new tool that could help us implement continuous auditing, making sure that the process is being run the way it should, approvals are happening when they should, things aren't being skipped, and being audit ready continuously instead of just doing point-in-time audits, right? All of these compliance, performance, things that come from the power of process intelligence usually end up in a conversation of, well, now how do we continuously monitor for it? mindzie, for those of you that have worked with us, are probably already aware, but those that haven't, is designed to evolve with your client, not just from a cost perspective, not from a data security perspective only, but also from a project flow perspective. So any of the work that you do in terms of setting up a project in the platform, configuring these insights, getting these operational intelligence reports, all of that work with the click of a button can be migrated seamlessly over to the customer deployment if they want to continue to leverage mindzie going forward. So it's not a start from scratch. It's basically taking that project, pushing it into their SaaS, their on-premise, whatever version of Mindzie they are using. All the configuration is reused, and then you simply start to synchronize data from source systems, and they are up and running in a way now that they can continuously monitor all of these processes on a go-forward basis. So it doesn't stop at discovery. The platform evolves with the need of the client, allowing you to go from one-time discovery into full operationalizing Mindzie as needed on a client-by-client basis. And once you operationalize it, for those that have worked with us, you'll understand that there's all kinds of things that you can do. You can build customizable apps and dashboards, publish out business apps that are specific to finance or compliance or operations, publish out custom widgets, filter, slice data as needed, and basically design the platform to deliver the intelligence that your clients need, including even building out SLA-aware command centers. So although you can fully automate things with our automated actions that I'll talk about here in a second, there is a full command center interface as well. So we can monitor all of the key steps across various business processes, and that's across system as well. So giving leaders, giving operational excellence people that end-to-end visibility across process and being able to define what key steps we want to monitor and associate SLAs with those key steps so they can know who is responsible for the next step, where is the thing sticking, and be able with a click of a button to notify individuals to take action, to get early warning signs, and even put in full automation-ready orchestration. On top of that, with our automated actions, you can inject predictions so that we can take proactive approaches. These automated actions can even be able to be used by or trigger RPA or AI agents. So for that closed loop approach from discovery to data transformation to data analysis to continuous monitoring, and then even taking action with AI agents. The interesting part about the AI agents is that we can feed them the data they need in order to be able to take action, what action needs to be taken, and they get specific instructions from Mindzie. But Mindzie also has an entire MCP server wrapper. So that means that when we send information to these third-party agents, if they have follow-up questions or if it's through a chat and they're interacting with a business user and there's more information needed, that AI agent can use Mindzie as a tool to request more insight to ensure that the right decision is being made and the right action is being taken. And what that means for your client is basically they get as close to a future-proof ready solution as possible. Nothing is ever truly future-proof, but let's think of it as future ready, where we can go from a simple discovery project as an entry point and finish there, leveraging the power of Mindzie to quantify and deliver projects that are possible and where focus and attention should be spent, and taking it all the way seamlessly into fully operationalizing the platform and even being able to trigger and interact with existing AI agent projects that they might be deploying or involved in so that they get this seamless level of process intelligence, leveraging the Mindzie platform for what it truly is, an intelligence engine that delivers insights on how the business runs and opportunities to improve it, either through predictive or preventative or compliance approach. Now, if you're ready to give it a try and you're new to Mindzie and you want to explore it, please feel free to reach out to our support department. We do have a free desktop edition, as well as we offer free cloud tenants to those that want to explore the system and see if it's right for your next project. Please reach out to our support department at any time. And with that, thank you everyone for joining. As mentioned, this will get posted and shared out for anyone that couldn't join. If there are any follow-up questions, please don't hesitate to ask or send a message to myself or Yana or our support team here, and we'll be happy to answer any questions you might have about mindzie. Have a great day, everyone.